and what works and what doesn't and what's best. So let's just jump in with like the first. Sorry, I had the wrong things up. Thank you, Luigi, for letting me know. So I'll start again. Is that better? Let me know. So what I want to talk about in this chat is, I'm just fixing levels. Sorry. Sound issue, still a sound issue. Like just double checking it's better. So thumbs up if it's good now. Just waiting for the chat to catch up to me. Come on, chat. You've got this. Thumbs up. Better from Leanne. Excellent. Thank you. All right. I'll go into what that was about in a moment. But basically, this stream, I want to talk about the devices that do and don't work for live streaming. What we're using for different reasons, why we're using it, and you know the advantages and disadvantages of the different devices that are available for live streaming, because it's limitless. Like if you have something that can connect to Wi-Fi and has a camera and has a way to pick up audio, technically you can live stream with that device. But is it going to give the best experience for those people watching? So this morning the runaround was I've come in, started getting ready for the stream, popped into the kitchen to chat with my husband because he's still under the weather, and came back only to find the cat on my table just playing with things. And I thought I was all set up and ready to go. Turns out that she likes the sliders. She likes the sliders, and that'll teach me for not keeping the cover on it. So thank you for letting me know in the chat that the sliders were all wrong and that you couldn't hear me. So I appreciate that. So the first device I want to talk to you about, what I live stream with. And this is totally personal preference. Okay? Totally personal preference. I like to make sure I have a monitor. I know that sounds like a bizarre thing to need for a live stream. I like a nice big monitor. I can't see very well. I can't read from a distance very well. I've got lots of visual issues with my eyes. Probably no more than most people my age, but it's progressively gotten worse as I've gotten older. So it is just it's just like I need the monitor. I need to be able to see people's comments all big. I need to be able to read them. I need to be able to bring them on screen. So being able to go in and read everything. So for me, a monitor is a must, which means I either need a laptop or a desktop computer for live streaming. But that is me personally. Now, when I am out and about or when I'm traveling, I don't take a monitor with me. I have my laptop with my little screen, which makes it a little bit awkward, but there are ways around it. And if you have to live stream with, say, an iPad or a phone, I would probably go phone for the camera and the stream and use an iPad for the comments because I need the bigger screen. So you need to work out, what are your non-negotiables? What are the things you absolutely need for your stream? So if you are a gaming streamer, you want a PC or a computer to game on, you're going to need to utilize some of that bandwidth of your computer for the live stream. So do you actually daisy chain in a second computer, which can have, a lot of live streaming used to be a case of, if you were gaming streaming, and a lot of people still do this, you have one computer for the game, and then you actually daisy chain in a second computer so that it can run the stream. And if you're running a heavy duty game, you may need to do that. So would they be able to stream with an iPad? No, they need the heavier duty game. So they need the computer that runs the game. I'm going to have a little look in the chat after the false start of the bad audio. So Tech for Your Needs is, hang on a second. Tech for Your Needs was here first. Hello, how are you going? Florida Manufactured Home Living says, speaking of necessary devices, are the Yetis in use? No Yetis today. I had 2 coffees a little bit earlier. So it's I just have water. So I didn't want another coffee. But if I was having coffee, the Yetis are available for use. Home Rapid Repair, great to see you. Okay, America's time change is weird. I thought YouTube said you were on in an hour from now. Weird. Okay, that's actually my fault. I scheduled this last night while I was on auto. I was exhausted. Had been modding Nick's stream until 2, got to sleep by about 3, then was up for a membership call at 6. And then sort of tried to plod my way through the day without having a nap, which was probably stupid. And then remembered I hadn't scheduled my stream and then jumped in to schedule my stream. And I was an automatic pilot, and my normal streams, my Thursday streams, which I've been running for 8 years, will start at 10 a.m. my time, not 9. So that was actually my bad, and it wasn't until this morning that I realized it. So I actually had to go in and fix it. So this was actually a me thing. So I'm so sorry if it's been confusing with the YouTube, like with the time zone shift as well as the Chantelle brain shift. I'm so sorry about the confusion on that one, but it was definitely scheduled for an hour later than what I started. And if I could have, I probably would have held off, but I've got appointments this afternoon, so I couldn't just go, oh, well, I've scheduled it for that. So I had to pull it back in. Let me look. Tech for Your Needs says, I also need a monitor. I've worn glasses all my life and I'm working on buying one. Yeah, it's one of these things. I definitely prefer a monitor and like an additional monitor. Like my monitors, I have 2 monitors and they're on articulated arms, so I can drag them closer as need be. So I definitely love having that ability. Let's have a look here. Brave, not even a spill-proof glass. I know. And like considering how I really have to reach for it. I've tried to put it somewhere safe. It is brave. It is brave. Hey, Doug, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. I know you are busy today, and I appreciate you jumping in. So I also am hoping that Doug is feeling a little better. There's a few lurgies and illnesses floating around that are just, stock standard illnesses, but that are hitting people pretty hard. So, you don't want to downplay like someone's flu or really bad cold because it's not the other thing. But seriously, a friend of mine had a name for it and I can't remember the name for it, but it was great. And it was just like, like this, it was really good. It was really good. There we go. All right. So something I want to talk about is so for me, I need a monitor, which limits the devices that I can use. And if you are doing like a screen share, if you are doing a walkthrough of something, you'll need the device that can do that for you. Now, I know of some really clever creators who are able to do screen sharing through their phones by jerry-rigging and jimmying things up. I'm not that person. I like things to be super easy and super simple. And anything more than a run and gun live stream on a phone is terrifying to me. But that's me personally. Now, if you are limited by what you actually own, then you have to go with what you've got. Don't wait until you can afford the extra monitors or the U-Boot computer or whatever it is that you think you need to live stream. You can obviously you need to make sure that you have what you need to live stream for the style of streams that you want to produce. But if you are doing a talking face, like technically speaking, this live stream that I'm doing right now, which is this camera, this microphone, me talking directly to you, no bells and whistles, no infographics, no anything, could totally do this on a phone. I could 100% do this with a phone, no problems, or an iPad, could absolutely do it with a phone. Now, I've got everything already set up for the other live streams that I do that are a lot more technical. Sorry, I'm just hitting a cord. I'll move that. Now, with my live streams over on Fiberific, I have a second camera that's just sitting here. I have a spare microphone, which is up there. Making sure I can do two screens at a time. That was the goal for me. When I started live streaming, I needed 2 cameras. And that meant, okay, don't have $11 billion, can't get 2 DSLRs. So when I first started, I used the webcam in my laptop as my face camera, and I had a C920 as my top-down camera. And it worked, and it's fine. The C920 still works. It's a 1080p webcam that says that Logitech have tried very hard to beat out of the market, but it was just too good. So it is definitely, you've got to think about the style of stream that you're doing. So if you're here in the chat, tell me, what kind of live stream is it that you want to be running? What kind of, is it a talking head? Is it gaming? Is it screen sharing? Is it multi-camera? Let me know in the chat. Doug says that he is feeling a little better, well enough to head into work, but not 100%. Well, I'm glad that you are on the mend. I really am. I don't like it when my friends are sick. So you have to choose your device based on your purpose, okay? So if you are going to be trying to do like a massive infographic, you don't want to be streaming with a phone. You can't see everything properly, or I can't see everything properly. In a way, like if you've got your phone here, you could see, but the shot will be wrong. You need your phone over there. So it's going to be a bit awkward. It's going to be a bit awkward. Let's have a look here. I start with a talking head topic, then hopefully move to questions if enough people have joined live. That's exactly the goal for this live stream, is I start with a topic, I'm talking, and then I bring your comments in and they progress the conversation. Here we go. Talking head with screen sharing and guests on occasion. So for you live stream consultants, a mobile device probably isn't the best option for you unless you can't avoid it. You probably would need either a laptop or a computer so that you can have both the screen that you're screen sharing available to you so you can see it to make sure you're sharing the right thing, as well as if you have a guest, being able to see the guest properly. So have you noticed that I keep talking about seeing things? And that is the big limitation when you're looking at mobile devices. They have the ability, they have the grunt, they have the innards to make a live stream happen. But can they make it happen in a way that suits the purpose? And that's what you have to think about. Is the device you're using fit for purpose? So you need to sort of sit down and have a think about what style of stream that you want to do. And is it like a dream pipeline? Like as in like, or a pipe dream is probably where my brain's trying to say, a pipe dream where it's like you want this big elaborate kind of production and is that something you could aim for? Or is that something that you want to start with? Now for me, I'm in camp, get started now. Your first streams are your worst streams, usually. Obviously, I've been streaming a long time and I still started this stream with my audio levels totally out of whack, courtesy of Macy the cat. Thanks, Macy, you're a champion. I did see her skulking around in here. She was creeping over, like up and over this, into there, walked along here, knocked a whole pile of stuff off. And then I sort of ducked out to talk to my husband. I came back and she was actually on this desk just batting the sliders on the Roadcaster. So it's definitely you definitely need to be considering what your purpose is. Hey Jerry Papandrea, great to see you here. The more tech I add to my streams, the harder it is to commit to doing them. Okay. That's really interesting. So for me, I added like a really expensive piece of sound equipment. So I've got the Rodecaster Pro 2. And now in my brain, it's like, you need to stream more because you've got to make paying for that thing worth the money you paid for it. Whereas it sounds like it's the opposite for you. Oh, hello. I didn't realize you weren't muted. That's terrifying. And I'm like, how is that not muted? Like it is muted. Why did a noise come through if it's muted? Oh my goodness. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's muted. I'm just going to stick that over somewhere else. So it's not directly under a microphone. Okay, so it's muted and it made a noise. So like riddle me that. But the other, like what I wanted to say here is for me, the more I add, the more it's like a guilt. It's like it's a guilt thing. Like, okay, you added a thing here. You've really got to you've really got to make it worth the effort of the income that you had to spend to get the thing. And so we might be on different sort of, thought fields there. But the other thing that happens is, and this is 100% legitimate, is if you start adding too much stuff in, it becomes too complicated and you need to pause the programming because you've got to learn how to use the thing. Was it really needed? Like, is it the thing that you absolutely have to have if it's actually slowing down what you want to do? I definitely am in this camp of, I'm a tech junkie who absolutely loves technology, who always wants the new and greatest, but I wait until the thing I have is either dead, like totally not working, or working so badly that it's taking effort to make it work. So it's either got to be dead, or I've come to its limits. So I learned a few years back thinking that something that I was doing was the limits, and then realized on some research that I needed to learn some extra skills so I could next level this piece of equipment that I had. So I wait until it's either dead or until it's at its limits, like it can no longer do what I need it to do, which is why I upgraded my audio. I had a great little Rode PSA-1. It was just a one mic in, one headphones out. But I wanted to bring in music. I wanted to bring in some extra audio options, and it was making it impossible. With StreamYard, it was impossible. Because with StreamYard, you can only have one audio device in, so I couldn't even choose my desktop audio for the music to be playing that way. So I had to have a hardware option to solve that solution, to be the solve for that issue. So that's why I upgraded that particular device. Let me just go back here. Yep, a desktop with 4 screens so that I have screen share on one, the chat popped out on another because I can't see anything small, one for OBS and one for StreamYard. Yeah, so I've got 2 screens, but they're both fairly big, so I can split screen them. So this one here is a 32-inch curved, and this one here is a 28-inch flat. So they're big enough that I can split screen them and have all the different things that I want, sort of half and half and half and half. But you need to work out what works for you. I worked for a really long time with just a 26-inch monitor and a laptop screen. So I still got the second monitor, but I also had the laptop screen as well. So this is like a luxury for me now because of from what I upgraded from. Let's have a look here. I want Google Slides presentation, but that's a ton of extra work. So the thing is, you can add a Google Slides presentation in if you're using StreamYard. I'm not sure if you are using StreamYard. When you go to present, you can choose slides, and Google Slides is one of the options you can upload into there. So you can make that as part of the StreamYard. So once you've made your slides, which is a job in itself, and I'm not diminishing that, then you can actually upload it into StreamYard and use it that way. Hey Holly, it's great to see you. Jerry says it's overthinking, majoring in the minors. Yes, this is a huge thing, and not just for live streamers, but also just YouTube creators in general. Are we focusing on the things that actually matter? And this is a thing I have to remind myself of. I'm really funny about branding and about making sure the branding is the same across all my platforms and all this sort of thing. But sometimes is that actually important? Look, the reality is no, it's not. But it's actually a task that I find comforting, and so I had to sort of sit down and have a think about, things for myself. What works for me, and this is what you all need to do as well. What works for me and makes it so I will just do it. So for me, I needed a studio setup that I could just walk into, talk to the Google, and just get it to turn on all my lights, and all I need to do is flick on a camera, an extra couple of lights that it can't control, and I'm ready to go. I used to have to, for many years, I would have to go in, drag over all the lights, set them all up, pull them out of their bags, unpack them, set them up, run the stream, pack it all back down and put them away because I didn't have a space that I could utilize. Now, over the years, I have changed how I do things. So now, with the equipment that I have now, I probably could have made a space in the corner of the living room, because believe it or not, everything for my stream, other than the lights and the walls behind me, everything from here forward is attached to a desk. So it's a 1.2 meter desk. So what is that? Is that like 4 feet? A 4 feet desk? 4 foot desk? I don't know. And so I've got this small desk, my monitors are attached, my lights are attached, my camera's attached. It's a sit-stand desk. So when I go up, everything comes up with me. You know, so I can stand for a stream if, you know, my legs are up for it. They're not today. My knee is very angry. And you know, vice versa. So I've worked out things that work for me, and you need to sit down and you need to work out what your non-negotiables are. What do you absolutely have to have for your stream to be a success in your mind? And think of it like for the lowest things first. So like, all right, I absolutely have to have a camera. I absolutely have to have audio. And I absolutely have to have something that can connect to the internet. Do I have that? Okay. Now, I also, because of the kind of streams that I want to run, I have to have access to be able to do a share screen or a Google Slides or bring on a guest. So think about the production that you want to be doing and make sure you've got all those things. Then go, okay, which software do I need to run this? All right. Now, once I've worked all those things out, then you can sit down and go, okay, what's the minimum device that can do all of this? Now, luckily with StreamYard, because it's all run in the cloud, as long as your device can handle some graphics, because it's still got to process your camera. So a really basic laptop, or I believe even Chromebooks work, like really low-end computers can run a StreamYard stream. I've got a Lenovo i5, which I just bought to be like I call it my handbag laptop, okay? It's like a X1 Carbon, but it's an old one, like Generation 6. It's slow. I can't video edit on it. It cannot cope with that, but it can do all my emails, all my socials, and it can handle a live stream. And it has a little webcam, so all I have to do is just bring either a microphone, which I normally just throw a lav in, and I've got a remote live streaming setup that has a screen that I can read, you know. So you think about what your minimums are, what it is that you need. All right, let's have a look here in the chat. The chat is really moving today. Oh, that's right. We do. We sometimes even have a Louis cam. We do. We have like a little third camera. It's actually just that phone that I just threw over there. And because I use eCam over on the Fiberfix streams most of the time, it's very easy to connect an iPhone camera and just boop. And it's great. And Louis just sits there in his spot, and I've made him a cute frame. And yeah. So you think about what it is that you want for your audience. My audience love Louis cam. They really. We used to have Snowy cam, and when Snowy is no longer with us, it took a little while for the Louis cam to come in. Louis wasn't that interested. He didn't sit still for often enough, but now he does. Now he just like sits in his spot and sleeps. Oh, we've done that one. The more tech. Oh, that's right. I'm sliding down. I've done screen share too. I want a Google Slides presentation, but that's a ton of extra work. And that's what you have to think about. Is the extra work that you're doing, are the extra devices that you're doing, is it actually better for your audience, or is it just something you want? Like, and this is something I'm constantly like reminding me, is this just an ego thing and you just want this for yourself, or will this actually make things better? And so whenever I want to spend money, I have to think about it. I'm like, is this an ego thing? Do I just want to well, I've got a broadcaster per team. Or is it like, actually, I just needed a better audio interface that could do all the things I wanted it to do? You know, and you have to think about it like that. Do you actually need to upgrade anything? Possibly not. Possibly. It's like it makes me, I really have to think about stuff before I upgrade it. This camera here was an upgrade. I had bought a little Canon M6 and I bought the wrong model, and it was on sale, and it was a no refunds, no returns situation, and it shut off every 30 minutes. There's no way to stop it from shutting off every 30 minutes. It became its own thing over on the Fiberfix live streams, to the point where we had merch. So it was like, because I had a little frame around my face. So it was actually an image of the frame with face cam and exclamations, because what would happen is I'd be talking or working on something and not actually looking up, and I wouldn't realize that I had no face cam until the chat started like letting me know, and then I'd reach over and I'd turn it off and turn it back on again. It became its own thing, and it was really fun. And it was kind of sad, but when I just got sick of it, right? I got so sick of it. And there was no animosity in the audience. I don't even think the audience cared, but I just got tired of it. I felt unprofessional. I felt like this piece of equipment is holding things back. This piece of equipment is holding me back. Now, the thing is, it's a great camera and it's great for recording videos, and it takes gorgeous photos. It's just not great for live streaming. So I use it for something else now. I have it over here in this setup, so that when I'm recording videos, so I don't have to disconnect this guy all the time. So, but it took years of me putting up with it turning off for me to actually go, you know, I've just got to buy this new camera. I don't want to buy a new camera. And then the big decision, do I jump from Canon? Because I had Canon 70D and a Canon M6. And the Sonys were just, at that time, everyone was just like Sony, Sony, Sony for live streaming. And I don't regret that decision at all. I think it's fantastic. I've got that. I'm currently using an A6400. It's an older model. It was an older model when I bought it. I don't tend to go out and buy the latest and greatest. I don't see the point for what I'm doing. I'm a tech junkie with a low budget. Let's have a look here. There's lots of conversations happening between you guys, and that's great. I'm so glad to see it. Let me look here. Yes, it's the added value of it that just justifies the extra prep time. And that's the thing. Like, if you are making slides, if you're making graphics, if you've got banners or pop-ups or anything that you need to come in, you need to work out, is it going to next level things enough, or delineate your stream enough? And that will also put some ideas behind like which devices will run those things. So you have to sort of think about it, because I'm not against mobile streaming at all. I'm not against it. I think it totally has an audience, totally serves a purpose. I have zero issues with it, except for the fact that I'm a blindy blindo who needs a bigger screen. And that's my personal issue with it. But if I'm out, like, I would live stream from craft shows and I would use my phone for it. I wasn't taking an extra rig or anything like that. I would just have my phone on a, I used to just have it on a tripod, and then I got a crane so that it was less shaky, because turns out I walk like you're on an ocean, and it was putting, when I moved around, people were like, whoa, seasickness. So I got a crane for it, but now my current phones don't fit in the crane, so they're too big. It's actually, I haven't checked my Pixel 7. It's a bit smaller than my last phone. Oh, maybe my crane can come out of mothballs. We'll see. We'll see. And that's the other thing. You go and buy new technology. You go and get something new. You go and get something good. And then all of a sudden, it no longer works with your devices. It no longer... I've got Rode microphone that plugs into a 3.5 millimeter jack on your camera, on your phone, except none of my phones have a 3.5 millimeter jack anymore. And because of how it was designed and built, I can absolutely use an adapter for it, but then it sort of just dangles there and there's no way to clip it on, because it used to clip in and hold itself in place using that jack. And then you'll just tighten it at the back a little bit just to make it so it didn't wobble or put any pressure on the jack. And now I don't have that. It's just sitting in a drawer. I've got zero use for it. It's a perfectly good microphone if you've got a camera that takes a 3.5 mil, or if you've got your camera in a mount where you can attach it on with something, which I don't have. I totally need to do that. So I'm just having a look here. Home Rapid Repair has just sent me a coffee. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sending me coffee. You guys know how much I love coffee. I very much appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Okay. The email just came through. He bought 5 coffees. It's 5 coffees. Wow. That's super generous. Thanks, Larry. It might take me a couple of days to drink 5 coffees, but I'm here for it. I'll drink those coffees. So let me have a look here. Let's have a look here. Oh, that's right. We're up to this one. We're up to this one with the extra slides and the value. So, and this is the thing, you have to decide if it's worth it for you. Is the time effort worth it? Is your audience actually going to care, or is it about you? And that's a big thing. And and I don't know about you guys, but there's always a little hit to my ego when I realize that something I want to do is more about what I want than what my audience actually cares about. And you're just like, yeah, okay. It is more about me than the audience. I know the lighting is. I know all of this. That's all more about me than you. But in my brain, I needed a way to show my personality without like showing my personality, you know? So I've got all my little crafty things and my nerdy things and my YouTubey things, and I put them all together in a nice little mix. And that's definitely a me thing. That was it. I could totally save space by getting rid of all of that, for sure. But I don't want to. And I know it's a me thing, and that's okay. You can have me things too. You just need to know, is it a thing that is an advantage for your audience, or is it a thing that you want? And as long as you know the answer to that, you can make your next decision. Don't forget overcoming the cat's off hours adjustments. Yeah, like I had just been in and taken the cover off and turned it on and got everything going and then left the room. I now know I can't leave the room. She is not to be trusted. She is not to be trusted. You haven't seen Weet-Bix in 35 years? Yeah, there's a discussion happening over on on Twitter. Daniel Vital tweeted out his favorite breakfast cereal, and me being a smarty pants, I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I've never had that. Because Captain Crunch is not available in Australia unless you go to like a specialty American store. You can't get it in this. I think you can get you might be able to start getting the plain one, but not the with berries, which is he had the with berries. So I've never tried either. I don't even know. And then he's come back with a photo of Weet-Bix, and I'm just like, yeah, Weet-Bix for sure. And then I think it was Home Rapid Repair sent me a message asking like, hey, Australian friend, is it like shredded wheat? The answer is no. Apparently, and I had to do some searching because I've never had shredded wheat. They're similar, but not the same, different texture, different flavor. So these are 97% wheat. They're little bricks. If you want me to open the box, I can pull one out and show you. But there's also a little bit of sugar, not a lot, but a little bit of sugar and a little bit of malt just to sort of add some flavor. Let me have a look. Lots of discussion about your face cam. You were there for that. I did ponder it for a long while because it was an expense. It was a big expense. And for the style of business that I have and the fact that I do a lot of things for free, I had to decide if it was a worthy expense. Like it was over $1,000 Australian dollars. I think it was about 1,500 Australian dollars for me to get the camera. And I really had to decide, was it worth that money? Was it enough of a step up? Was it enough of a difference to the feel and to how the audience went for me to go and spend that money? And eventually I decided that yes, it is. It's definitely time to spend the money. Oh yes, you remember the Seasick live streams? I think it was you who pointed out the first time that it was just like, hey, you walk like you're on a ship. So I was just like, really? I do? Okay, cool. Let me keep scrolling down. Game Window says, I upgraded my computer last year. Now I need to update my label printer because it doesn't speak Windows 11. Oh my gosh, really? That's frustrating. And these are the things you have to decide, like when you're doing an upgrade, what else around you is going to have to be upgraded? So, so for me, all right, as I am upgrading things and adding things to get Google to turn things off and on, And as I am sort of working towards making it so it's simpler for me just to walk in and get things done, I want to upgrade some lights. But that's just a me thing. There's nothing wrong with this. Although this one's becoming an issue. This one, I'm looking at you, light. I'm watching you. It's becoming an issue. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. I didn't set it up. I got it and I loved it. And then I didn't set it up. Oh, I'm going to see if I can find it. It was such the best thing. I've had such a weird week, honestly, Livestream Consultants. Livestream Consultants sent me an audio like stinger for when coffees came, and it's the best. It's so cute. Let me see. Oh my gosh. It was a message. I'm like, where did you send it to? Did you send it to Twitter? I thought you sent it to Twitter. Where did you send it to? Let me know. Was it Twitter or was it? It might have been Instagram. Messengers on Instagram. Oh, there it is. There it is. It was Instagram. Oh, no, it wasn't. Yes, it was. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work because, you know, I'm just going to run it through this microphone. I don't know if you could hear that. It was very quiet. But I should absolutely... I'm going to run it again. I don't know. But I love it. I thought it was the coolest thing. And then I didn't do anything with it because I'm like, yes, I'll look at that tomorrow when I'm awake. And then I did not do anything. Like an idiot. I'm so sorry, but yes, you're right. Malted wheat biscuits. Now, one thing I'll say is I didn't realize there was malt in it. There's hardly any malt in it. And there's hardly any sugar in it. I don't add sugar to my breakfast cereals, and I use a little drizzle of honey on them. Oh, yours has way too much sugar. Okay, there you go. I don't know how to compare them. I've never tried shredded wheat. If I ever make it to the USA, I will try shredded wheat while I'm there just to compare them. So you did. I found it. Okay. All right. So we're talking about the devices, like which is the best device. Now, I want to just the device you have. That's the best device. The device you have is the best one to start with. Don't go out and spend an absolute fortune on things if you're testing, unless you've got some major backer behind you, or you've got, it's like the production arm of your business or something crazy like that where you've got like a budget that you can risk. Don't go out and spend a huge amount of money upgrading things. You just need the bare minimum to get started. You really do. You've got so much to learn. You've got so much to get through. There are a lot of plates to spin in the air while you're live streaming. And do you really need new technology, new camera, new everything that you're not comfortable with to add to that pile? So you just need to get on with what you've got to start with. Work, and then I go back and rewatch things and be like, okay, this thing was doing a thing and it was really bugging me. Would that have bugged the audience? Possibly would have bugged the audience. So you go back and you sort of look at things and is the audio crackling? Replace the microphone. If I have to tell you to replace one thing to start with or to get one thing, spend money on your audio. It doesn't have to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It can be $15. You need to next step it. Make it so the audio is not distracting. I saw some recent social media posts from a pretty, high-ranked YouTube educator, and they were talking about how they're not going to be uploading their content that doesn't have perfect audio. And I was just like, really? Because I don't think the same thing. The audio, nothing has to be perfect. Your production does not have to be perfect. It has to be good enough. And good enough for what is your decision. But as long as your audio is not distracting, like your audio is so low people can't hear you, and you need to fix that. Hello, start of this stream. Your audio doesn't have to be perfect. Your video doesn't have to be perfect. But does it have to be not distracting? Yes. Yeah. And that's a big gap. That's a big space in the middle there of perfect, not distracting, distracting. Let me look here. Glad you like it. I'm working on a couple more so you can mix it. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Wheaties don't have much sugar. Yeah, I don't like sugary cereals. There can be surprises with new gear. Absolutely, there can be surprises with new gear, and positive surprises and negative surprises. My Insta360 is fabulous, but after a day or so, I noticed the depth of field is very high, so no bokeh compared with my DSLR with an f2. Webcams don't tend to have great depths of fields. Now, I know that that's changing a little bit now, and like with digital cameras being able to fake depth of field, you should probably double check. I thought the Insta360 had a way you could fake it. I could be wrong. I might be thinking of the what are those called? The OBS bots. Is that what they're called? OBS bot? There's another, really smart little camera. One of them has got a way to fake a depth of field, but this is the trick. Not all webcams can do it. So, do you really need the depth of field? Is that a make or break for you? Then you need to think about that. It's like, for me, it's like, I want to be able to have my face clear, but everything else a bit blurry. If it wasn't blurry, I'm not that worried, because I'm like, okay, I place everything behind me. It's not a part of my home. It's not a living space. It's not a work desk with binders and everything in it. It is a set. And so because of that, if I didn't have depth of field, it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. But if you've got things behind you that you don't want seen, you need to look into ways to sort that out. I like it still, but if I was replacing a camera where the effect was part of the scene, I'd be a bit disappointed. Yeah, I honestly don't think that these webcams should be a replacement for a DSLR. And at least in their current iterations, yet they're top-notch webcams, they're still webcams. So, you've got the pros and cons of both. So if you really do need that depth of field to create the mood, stick with your DSLR. Don't go with a webcam. In webcam money, in DSLR money, these are cheap. In webcam money, they're expensive. So, in Australia, I was looking at getting them. There's no change from $500 to get one of these smart webcams. So whether it's the Insta360 or the OBS bots, there's no change from $500. Whereas with a decent DSLR, you're looking at around $1,000. So like in DSLR money, they're good, but then I can get a Logitech Brio for $200. So, and that's still a 4K webcam. It's just not a smart webcam. So you've got to think about all the different things. Like I was actually looking, like my webcam here died. My Brio 4K died. It legit wouldn't turn on. It was being a total butt face, as we say over on the Fiberific chat. And so I had to go out and make a decision. Like it was like, okay, I need to buy a replacement. And I was looking at these other ones because I'm like, they look really cool. But for the purpose of a face down webcam, that doesn't need tracking, doesn't need all the things that are like the bells and whistles that you're paying for. I just needed it to be able to point down from here, focus on there with like the right aspect. I want it looking at it from like this way, not this way. And so like the OBS bots and stuff, they could do tabletop view, but it's looking down. So it would be upside down in essence. So I was just like, you know what? For what I'm doing, I didn't need to spend that sort of money, at least not yet. Maybe down the track, but at least not yet. So I had to think about my purpose, my use case for the product. Was paying for all the bells and whistles worth it? Now, if you can future-proof yourself, then sometimes it's worth it. But the other issue was they're quite heavy for what they are. And I use a very light rig here. And was I going to then have to go and replace all the equipment that I used to hold it up as well? So I probably wouldn't have, but it's always something that you have to consider as well. If you spend anything on upgrades, spend it on either lighting or audio, whichever needs the attention. See, this is the thing. You might have a basic webcam and you're like, oh man, I hate the image I get out of it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Do you know if you add some good lighting to a webcam, it can be really, really good. You can get a really solid image if you add some good lighting to your webcam. So there's always that thing, like people are like, oh, my webcam doesn't like dark. It's like, cool, most cameras don't. Get a light. It does have blur mode. That's good. That's good. I am starting a new adventure. I'm going to look at how to make a multicam setup that is movable. I'm back in the research for the best gear to get. So when you say movable, do you mean like portable, as in you're going to be moving around and you need all these cameras to come with you? Or do you mean as in movable, as in they track you as you move around? Because they mean different things. So I just want to double check. I started with 2 Elgato 1080 webcams. They're fine and so easy to use. And this is the thing. Have you still got them? Are you still using them? Because quite often, like I didn't replace my C920 until I was doing live dyeing sessions and it couldn't handle the color contrasts. And it was just like, it was being naughty. It ended up like glitching with black and white screens. And so as I keep pointing up here because it's on my roof. As an overhead camera, which it's actually currently not plugged in, I wanted like a whole scene kind of thing. As that, it's great. It's fine. There's not too much work that it has to do. It doesn't have to do much heavy lifting. Are you looking at the YOLO box and the OBS tail airs? The OBS bots look great. I was so like this close. I was this close to buying the OBS bots. I was going to aim towards the OBS bots rather than the Insta360s. But I was like, no, I don't want to spend $500 on a webcam. But the YOLO boxes are supposed to be really good. And they make things very easy, very, very transportable. Battery pack, I would recommend if you're on the move. So definitely a good option there. That will work out to be a fairly expensive way to go. But if you've got the budget for it and you need transportable, then that will work. The Lumix G7 is a good middle of the road for a digital camera, but a bit more for the Sony ZV-1s. Is a great choice, as is the ZV-E10s. I have not used either of the new Sonys, but I was reading some bits and pieces about them, and I'm not sure I would go with either of them, to be honest. I'm still definitely an alpha user, like the A6400s. I really like those. I found that for what I'm doing, they're really good. I don't use a Lumix at all. So I can't really speak to any of those, but just some of the Lumixes, I've heard some great things, especially if you need, like, if you are a suspenders and belt kind of person, if you're recording content, is it the G7? It might be the G5. G7, I think. You can put in 2 memory cards and it can record both at the same time. So if you have an issue and one of your memory cards is like faulty or something like that, you've still got the other memory card, which is great, so that you can actually have that. And I think that's amazing if that's something that happens to you sometimes. I actually record direct, because everything's set up here, I record directly into my computer. So I don't actually even have a memory card in my camera. I do when I'm recording other videos, so those ones have got memory cards, but they are inexpensive little cameras that suited my budget at the time of shopping. Oh, it flips the desktop view. Yep. Okay, cool. That's good to know. I use the Elgato webcams only for live, something else totally for the weekly edited videos. Oh, hello, Louie. I'm just going to have a little drink of water here. Okay, so basically what I'm seeing here is a lot of people using webcams. So you need a device that you can plug a webcam into. Now, from what I haven't tested it myself, but the new, I think it was the iOS 16. So if you've got iOS 16 and above on an iPad, on particular iPad models, you can actually plug a USB-C webcam into your iPad. Now, my issue was I went to trial it and I couldn't plug in a microphone because I just plugged the webcam in and it used a spot. So the catch is your iPad needs to be charged so that you don't have to have the battery charger plugged in, and you are happy to use the inbuilt microphone. I do have, where are you? Are you here? There we go. I do have this adapter, which is a USB-C adapter, which means that I could have plugged in a 3.5mm microphone and also plug in a webcam. It didn't work, at least not for me. And it might have been because I had the beta version of 16. I haven't tried it recently. So if somebody is in the chat, let me know. So that is great. Justin Brown's logged in on his test channel. Hey, Justin, how you going? Justin's trialed a lot of this stuff, and Justin has the Lumix. Is it the GH5 that you've got, Justin? If you're here, that'd be great. Because we're just talking about the different cameras and and we were talking about like having the dual memory cards. I was actually thinking about your camera while I was talking about it. Amazing Yacht Destination says he'll be traveling a lot. So yeah, so something like the definitely the YOLO box will come in super handy. You still need to make sure you've got connection. So you still need to make sure you've got like Wi-Fi, or you can connect and hotspot off your phone or something. It still needs to connect to the internet. So aside from that, it'll be great. Like that, you need to make sure that's the go. Oh, that is the G5. I have the G7. It needs good lighting to shine. The ZV-1 does as well. From what I've seen, the ZV-E10 does much better when using an f1.4 lens. So yeah, let's look here. Hey, the Talking Turban, it's great to see you. Do you have any experience or views on the new Elgato teleprompter mini monitor as a live streaming tool? I don't have one. I haven't used one, but I have a few friends who've used them. They look solid. They look to be great. I have definitely, I've been looking into getting one because my teleprompter, this guy here, is very big and it actually doesn't fit in my regular live streaming setup anymore because my desk is too close to a wall and it takes up a lot of space behind. The new one doesn't. So I'm like, oh, do I want to? There's a couple of little catches that I've seen, the little caveats. If you have like a light image coming off the prompter, it can create a lot of glare that is seen by the camera. So you need to make sure that you are using like dark modes of things so that you're not adding additional light sources. I saw that in a live stream the other day that somebody had it and they were using StreamYard. They had StreamYard with the guest. So that was over on the camera within that. And it was actually creating a lot of light back on their glasses as well. So the StreamYard white screen was actually not only reflecting additional light into the camera, but it was also that reflection was reflecting back into the glasses of the wearer. So, and that the second they added in like, because StreamYard doesn't have a dark mode, like StreamYard, seriously, get a dark mode already. But you can add an extension that creates a dark mode. The second he enabled that, it all went away. It looked fantastic. So there's that side. My only other issue is the screen is small. It's quite a small screen. And the reason I moved from a Parrot, which took a phone, to this guy that takes an iPad is because I'm a blindo. When something's that far away, I need the bigger words, you know. So there's pros and cons to it. I personally haven't used it, but quite a few people have. And it is one that I would seriously consider spending my hard-earned money on. It really would be. Oh, Primal Video is back out of the test account. Cool. Yes, the GH5, and it does record the 2 SD cards. Okay, that is awesome. Yeah, StreamYard dark mode already. Come on, bring it. I honestly think that in this day and age, why doesn't an app have dark mode? Ugh. Anyway, I need a drink. So I'm going to have a drink. So from what I'm reading here in the chat, those of you that are watching live, most of you are streaming using a laptop or a computer. If you're plugging in multiple cameras, DSLRs, or multiple webcams, you obviously prefer a more situated streaming experience. But if you are watching later in the replay and this isn't you, and you have got a phone or you have got an iPad, you can 100% stream from those. Like, there's no, especially things like, Justin's getting me back here. See this? See this? That's because I suggested he was drinking tequila in one of his webinars. This is just vengeful. Justin's being vengeful. And no, it's a bit early. It's just bubbly water. It's just water. It's totally water. So you can totally 100% use a mobile device, especially anything sort of more modern, like the last couple of years. It doesn't have to be this year's or last year's. It can be anything in the last sort of 4 to 5 years. The cameras are solid. And even some of them, their microphone is fine. And if you don't want to get all the bells and whistles and you're like on a MacBook Pro or something, the microphone is not trash in the more recent MacBook Pros. Like, I'm normally like, Queen, do not ever use a built-in microphone. They are dumpster fodder. But it is definitely just not anymore. It's not the case. They're realizing that people like, okay, like, oh, I have to use one of my only ports on this thing to stick in a microphone because what you've included is terrible. They're making it less terrible. And so you can just go live with just the webcam from your laptop. You can go live just from your phone or from your iPad. And you can even sort of max it out a little bit by adding in some extra features like a microphone or even an iPad being able to add an extra camera. Like, that actually makes an iPad a viable option for me to live stream from, because it would mean that the cord from the camera means I can push the camera back a little bit. I can have the iPad in a place where I can actually read the comments, because blind and can't read it when it's over here. I need it like under my face. So being able to get the distance between the camera and yourself. Otherwise I'd have to push the iPad over there, and it's just like, there is a comment. Thank you for the comment, because you can't read it. You just can't read it. Let me look here. Peanut butter whiskey, right? I've never tried peanut butter whiskey. I would try it though. That sounds nice. Early advice from the guy behind the curtain was have everything set up and ready all the time. So easy when you do this. I 100% agree. This desk, this setup, is ready to go at a minute's notice. I basically need as long as it takes to boot my computer. So if I get a phone call saying, hey, can you jump into something? Or if I get a message, can you jump into this? If my computer's booted, all I need to do is like flick on. Like, I'm talking seconds to set up. Otherwise, I have to wait for the computer to boot. What is it? Is this? I'm currently plugged into my Mac Mini. It takes a few seconds to boot and log in and let it do its little dance. My Windows laptop takes a minute longer, and so having that makes it just a little bit, Hey, Doug, what's up? Are you back at work? Sorry, I'm just checking. I'm like, did I miss something? Amazing Yacht Destinations has bought me 3 coffees. Reason to play the new stinger. I don't have it set up. Oh my gosh. Could you guys even hear it when I played it through my phone before? I don't even know. If you could hear it, I'll find it again and we'll do it again. But thank you, Amazing Yacht Destinations, for sending me more coffee. We all know how much I love coffee. I got Doug railed. I did get Doug railed. I don't like that. We're not doing that again. I thought it was going to be something like, hey, but no, like I'd mess something up. Like, thanks for that. All right, let's hear. Mine are on 24/7, so just pull a couple of USB switches to select a camera and mic and recording. live. I don't keep my stuff on in here. This room gets very hot, and I'm on a Mac Mini, which has no fans. So, and does anybody else notice the Rodecaster gets warm? Like my Rodecaster gets warm after a few hours of use, so I don't leave everything on. I usually will leave the computer on like for the day or something like that. And then sometimes overnight, I normally reboot before every live stream anyway. So, you know, it's just one of these things where it's, I mean, I could work out how to plug it into the Rodecaster, right? I don't know how to plug it into the Rodecaster. Do I even have a cord? I've never done it. I have to try these things, right? I do have to try. I know Doug connects his phone to his Rodecaster, which is how he gets his audio into, like how he gets his music into his mix. I play mine through the computer, so it's a bit different. Yeah, I was trying to. I like the microphones on this thing are not in, like they are down the bottom, but they're also there's a better one at the top. Not microphones, speakers. But yeah, it was like I'm trying to work out where the best sound was coming from, so I was moving it around. Thanks for that lighting tip. I get the glare in my glasses at times. Yeah. So when it comes to like all my other lighting, like if I look up, you can see the glare, right? But if I'm looking down, you can't. And it's because I have my lighting up and back. So it's sort of like it's well above my head. So like here is about the level of the lights, and then they're angled towards me. So there's a, what is it, like 35 degrees? Is it a 35-degree angle? That's the optimum angle? I can't remember. It's 35 or 45 or something like that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I need a specific cable. I've probably got the cable, but I would need to test to work out which one it is. So we're not going to do that today. But I will make sure after this stream, I will get that audio into my Rodecaster so we can play it for next time, okay? Yeah. Here we go. My cell comes into my PodTrack 4. Also let me mix in sound from the computer or on the iPad. Yeah, this will do it. I just haven't done it. Like, this piece of equipment will do the job. The Rodecaster Pro 2, it will do it. I just don't know how to do it. I'm still learning. It's like it's a new baby. I've got to adjust to it. And I got it in November. I was talking about this too. I was talking to a friend about it. I was just like, I feel like I've really dropped the ball on my Rodecaster, because I got it back in November. Then basically had to shut my studio down for December because of Christmas and family and stuff like that. And then part of January as well. Then I got sick. And then it's just been, I just haven't had the mental brain space to sit down and just nut everything out. So it's doing what I needed to do, like bare bones. Yeah. But I do need to sit down and add in some extra things. So right now, all I have it doing is it's picking up audio from this mic, so I can trot between them. And it also has music coming through. And that is it. And I have it like a pro chat, so when I'm chatting with other people, they don't get the extra mix. I have got that set up. But yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, I'm going to set it up as a pad. I'll definitely set it up as a pad for sure. Florida manufacturers bought special prescription glasses to cut the glare. I paid for anti-glare glasses. I think we talked about this last week, where no glare gets me, but the glare still reflects. Like I do get them coated, but it's not as good. I do still just keep the light out from directly coming. I will get the other audio assets to you here soon. Well, thank you. Thank you. The Weet-Bix box is like you're not in on the joke, Justin. You're not in on the joke. We're having like there's a Daniel Batal and myself were having a conversation over the best breakfast cereals ever, and it's turned into a thing, just a little thing. Like I probably think it's more of a thing because it's Weet-Bix. I think he was actually trying to diss Weet-Bix by saying, is this your favorite? And I was like, well, actually. And it's become a thing. So I brought it in because, like, I thought we would, like, at one stage towards the end of the stream, we might even open it up and just show what an actual Weet-Bix looks like. The live streaming on the iPad, as mentioned before, it's awesome with an external camera input and using the Camo Live Studio app. I haven't tried with both. I haven't tried with both. I tried bringing the extra camera in. So yeah, I'll have to have a play. Do I have Camo? No, I've got Elgato. I've got the Elgato version. What is that called? Camera Hub. So I have that, but I'll have to have a look into it because I have this set up and I don't really go anywhere ever. I don't leave the house. This is the truth of the matter is I don't go out. Mobile streaming has not really been something I've specialized in, but it's definitely something I want to get better at because I do want to go out. I do want to go and have adventures and still share and still be around to do things. So it's been, I used to go away a couple of times a year and being able to take, a mobile live streaming situation with me. And I did that. But it's been a while since I've done that. So, it's definitely something I want to step back into. And being able to really pare it down. I was jokingly having a discussion with Doug about, we were talking about different things that you could take away when you were traveling. And I'm like, dude, my clothes are bigger than yours. Like, if I pack 2 pairs of jeans, that's half my weight allowance in my suitcase. So I have to think of which clothing I'm going to take before I can start working out anything else. But yeah, it's definitely being able to reduce down the gear I take would actually make the rest of the packing less stressful. So packing to travel is not my favorite thing. I always end up taking way too many clothes, not enough of other things. Yeah, it's a bad thing because I don't travel enough. I'm not a seasoned traveler. I want to be a seasoned traveler. Let me look. Can confirm, have dabbled with the Camo Studio and the DSLR. Oh, there you go. Okay. I've streamed from the car on an 11-hour road trip to Austin, Texas last year on my other channel. That sounds fun too. I can confirm I took too much gear to Vid Summit. So this is the thing. And you've got to, when you're going to events, you really do have to balance out how much content am I actually going to make and make the decision on your gear based off that. Can you do it with a phone and a microphone and a little, oops, that's plugged in, and a little portable light, something that simple? Could you do it? Sure, probably. What kind of content do you want to make? It always comes back to what kind of content are you trying to make? And sometimes having to pack and take all this extra gear with you just because that's what you're comfortable with. And this is me talking to myself right now. I'm comfortable with this. I can't take it with me. So I would literally feel okay with my little laptop possibly. But if I could work out how to get a crispy stream with my iPad, I would take that in a heartbeat. Definitely. Although I really like a keyboard. I'm like a keyboard. I'm so old. I'm a dinosaur. I like a keyboard and I like a mouse. I don't like a little trackpad. I do. Look, I got the trackpad. It has advantages. I just don't use it enough. I wouldn't take it with me. I would take a mouse. I want something I can use a mouse on. You have to think about your own personality. What will stop you from using it? What will get in your way? What will make it so you don't do the thing? I'm channeling Justin now. You have to make it as easy as possible for yourself. Because if you make it harder, it's an excuse not to do it. It's absolutely an excuse not to do it. Oh, I'm going to have to plug in this. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to make sure this is charged and this is right and this is good. You have to just be okay with what you've got. Plug to iPad crispy stream, plug in the mirrorless, less likely to also be taking. I want a lot. I want the middle of the ground, right? This is the dream setup, okay? The dream portable setup. iPad with a standard webcam. I don't want to take a DSLR. I want a little tripod for the webcam, so whatever I need to get the right height. and a keyboard and mouse. I think I had to just dump it because it was broken, but I had this really cool little keyboard that had a little lip in the back of it that you actually pop your iPad onto, and I could connect it. It was no problems. Like I would pop it into my laptop bag, and I can connect my mouse to it as well. So you can do it. You can totally do it. When do I leave the house? I don't. But yes, you can get a keyboard and you can use a mouse. Yeah. And a webcam works. Yeah. I love my iPad. I'd love my iPad to be my main device, but I'm constantly finding deal breakers. And see, this is the thing for me as well. When it comes to being my main daily driver, I am happy with my computer. I am happy with my laptop. I'd love to upgrade my laptop. That's basically, I think, unless something, crashes and burns, that's my next upgrade is a new laptop, right? It's been on the list for years. Like it's been on the list for 3 years to get a better laptop, like a better, smaller laptop. I've got a big beastie one, but I want something I can carry, right? So, because the big beastie one used to be everything. It was what I had before the Mac Mini, and then it started getting scary and jittery and broken and stuff. So it's not reliable. But for like photo editing or sitting on a comfy chair doing a little bit of light video editing, it works. The other one does not. So finding a device that can do a few things that I want it to do, I'm probably leaning towards a Mac. Shh. Okay. Shh. I'm not ready yet. The ones I have still work. I'm still deciding. I haven't decided yet. Okay. I can buy a small car with the money a Mac would cost in Australia, to be honest. So, I'm like, oh. Anyway, the next piece of gear that I would need is a new laptop. I'm happy with my cameras. I'm happy with my monitors. I'm happy with my audio. I'm happy with my lighting for the most part. It's not as big. Like if I want to replace a light, it's like 100. It's not 3,000, right? So Justin's saying sell both and get the MacBook Pro. I could sell both and still need $2,500 for the MacBook Pro. Like seriously, they're old laptops. I'd be like, someone would be like, look, I won't give you any money for it, but if you wipe it, I'll take it off your hands. Like it's that kind of level of. So, here we go. The Insta360 would be great for that. Mic isn't bad either and much smaller than the OBS, but that's exactly right. This is the instance where something like that would be good for me. It's not so good in this setup, but if I wanted something great for traveling, something like that would actually be really good. And has Justin or Doug or somebody who has tried plugging into the MacBook Pro, have you tried using one of these sort of more smarter webcams in the not MacBook Pro, iPad? Have you tried it in the iPad? Because I haven't had success, and I was just trying like this guy. I was just trying to a basic 4K webcam. Oh yeah, an M3 MacBook Pro for the win. Yeah, that is. Look, I would probably be more likely to be in the market for an M1 MacBook Pro. In all fairness, like if we're being super honest, that's probably where I'd like an M1 or an M2. I don't do top of the line when it comes to the Macs. But yeah, and it does like I'm not a heavy user. Like a MacBook Air is a bit too low end. Like it can't quite do everything I need it to do. So like the lower scale MacBook Pros is I don't even need like all the bells and whistles. So yeah, it's you got to think about your use case versus your ego, right? So right now my ego says it says get the MacBook Pro, right? That's my ego is. I want a MacBook Pro. I want either an Insta360 or an OBS bot. I want these things, right? That's my ego. Do I need them? Do I need them right now? No, I can hold off. I can keep saving. I can keep working towards things. I've got so many things that I want to do. But is it my ego? Or is it what I actually need? And sometimes it's ego, and it's a little bit of a gut punch when you realize these things are not about the audience, it's about yourself. And you have to sit down and have these hard conversations with yourself. Is it about me or is it about you? And if you've got a little bit of extra cash and you can ease your workflows by making these decisions, then you do it. Absolutely. If you can future-proof something, do it for sure. But if you have to make these hard decisions, you have to sit back and decide, is it about me? Is it about ego? So, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Florida Manufactured says that he's loving his Insta 360 so far, and I'm glad you are. That is so good. Crowdfund your setup, then donate the older gear to someone starting. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. I would love to be able to go, here is an older gaming laptop. It is great for live streaming to a degree. Absolutely. Why can't it be both if you enjoy it? If you've got the budget for it, absolutely. There's nothing stopping you from doing both. But if you are having to make financial decisions, if you are having to work out the return on investment for it, if your enjoyment is not allowed to play a part in the decision-making process, so it's tough. I would love to just be able to just go out and get the things that I want to get, but I can't. So I have to sit down and make the decisions. Okay, do I need this thing? Because sometimes I can stretch something if I really do need it. But if I don't need it, if it's not going to be a huge benefit and it's just something for myself, it's harder to do. It's harder to justify. Well, and this is probably more about like my internal workings of how things work. But if you have to make these decisions, sometimes removing your own ego and removing your own sort of enjoyment factor. I'm not saying buy something that is a dog to use. I'm not saying buying something that makes life harder. You don't want that. That's not worth buying. I'm just saying that if you're thinking about your next leveling, is it a now decision? Are you future-proofing? Do you have spare money right now? Then do it. But if you don't, sometimes pulling your ego out helps you make the wiser decisions. Let's have a look here. Let's create the funny. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you all. Okay, sorry, I meant ego versus end goal needed to help people. I'm more than okay. Yeah. No, absolutely. If it's not so much a financial decision, then absolutely you can do both, like for sure. Because I do find that as my equipment is easier to use and as I have less technological issues, it's easier for me to focus on you and help you. It's easier for me to sort of understand the different equipment, especially of what people are using, and then and be able to help more people. Like, there's no doubt there. If you're not worrying about things crashing and burning and falling over all the time, then it's so much easier to help other people. If you make your setup easy to use and get what you want out of it, it's so much easier just to slide into your seat, create your content and go. It's easier for me to jump on a call, help somebody through something difficult and move on. Absolutely. Absolutely. But unfortunately, I have to make decisions based on finances sometimes, and I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy it. So, the Weet-Bix won't be in the set next week. Actually, they won't be in the set this afternoon. After the stream is over, I will be taking it out. It was just a little joke. I keep spotting it out of the corner of my eye because it shouldn't be there. I'm like, oh, what's that? Oh, it's that. That's right. That's a joke. And you enjoy it and feel out, geek out on it. Nothing wrong with that. I love technology. You know I love technology, Justin. I am such a technology nerd, and I love new gear and I love new toys and I love playing with all the things and I love incorporating it into my set. I just can't always do what I want to do. The Weet-Bix nostalgia is real. I've created a micro horror video story featuring an old metal Wheat Bix box. We've got an old cricket one. It's so cool. Or do we still have it? We might have gotten rid of it. But it was like this old, like, it fits the big box of Wheat Bix in it. You just flip the lid up and you just slide the whole packet in. Yeah. Wheat Bix is great. I love Wheat Bix. It's probably my favorite cereal. I don't get to eat it as much because, you know, I have a different cereal that I've been put onto by my dietitian. So I've been having that more, which, you know, it's fine. It feels too sweet, to be honest, but I'm supposed to have it, so that's what I'm having. The magnet on this just stole my pen, so that's cool. Thanks, light. I'm like trying to lift my pen up and it's attached to the light. Okay. If you're still here, if you're still here, we're chatting about mobile live streaming setups, what devices you need, not just mobile live streaming, but just live streaming in general. Making it easy to use, affordable to use, like small. Like if you're traveling, you don't want to take a whole other massive travel pack, like those big. I just have this visualization of like needing so much gear that you actually have like oh, what was it called? I can't remember. We used to use them for stage lighting, and it's basically these big black cases with foam in them, and you pad them. It's got wheels, and you can lock it down and, you know, make it secure, and then just you've got to go to a special spot at the airport to take. I have this visualization that that's what some people are taking to some of these things. But we don't need to. You can take it in your shoulder bag, like into your shoulder bag, in your backpack, or in your satchel, or whatever. Your onboard luggage. You don't even need to put it into. You don't need to check it. You don't need to check it. That's where I'm going. Okay, here we go. Florida Manufactured Home Living has been doing some research while the live stream's on. Looks like the OBS bot will work with the iPad, but the Insta360 won't. Interesting. I thought Justin said he got the Insta360 working with it. Let me just... But he was also using Camo. So maybe that was the difference. He was bringing in extra software. Thanks for jumping in, Justin. It's good to see you. Yeah, like what drummers transport their gear in. Yeah, we do the same thing for like stage lighting and things like that. You load it into a truck and the whole trucks drive interstate to set up at the next thing, so you've got all your gear. You're not reliant on what's there. My brain just won't give me the name of the travel cases. They had a name for them. Maybe we just had a name for them and that wasn't the legit name. I don't even know. Unless I'm moving there, it's got to fit and carry on. Okay, fair enough. If I was traveling to the US, I would need to check luggage. It's that simple. I can't do a long haul flight with just whatever's I can carry on. It can't work, especially if it's going to be cold there. Yeah. But I love the idea. Like, you guys come up with the best ideas, honestly. Like, I love hanging out in these chats for so many reasons. But one of them is you come up with the best ideas. And I love the idea of when I upgrade gear, being able to give my gear to somebody else so that it can have a second life. You know, like I've got like audio gear that I don't use anymore because I'm set in my ways. Like, yes, I have my backup gear. I would never get rid of that. But I've got gear that I no longer use that somebody else might still have a use for that's still perfectly good. And being able to pass that on to somebody would be awesome. So I definitely want to think about that more and how I would do that. But yeah, definitely love the idea. So I'm just having a little look in the chat. I traveled a lot. Yes. When you come to the States for VidCon, it will be warm. I'm not planning VidCon. I would love to do Vid Summit, but it's not going to happen this year. So we'll see what happens for next year. But yeah, so that's a warmer time of the year. So that's good to know. I don't have to pack my winter warmies because, you know, it's hot here. I'm used to the heat. I don't like the heat. I prefer it cold, but it is hot here. So, unless you guys have any other questions or anything else that we want to talk about in the chat, then we'll just have a quick wait. Let's have a look here. Yeah, there's lots of funding Chantelle's dreams at the moment, isn't there? Let's not. So, you know, that's very funny. I do love that, but no. So yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. There seems to be a lot right now. There seems to be a lot, and I don't like that. I don't like that. But it's good for a joke. It's good for a joke, and then that's it. So, yeah, there's a lot. Alrighty. So on that note, guys and gals who are here live, I'm gonna call it for today. I've had so much fun, and I'm so glad we got the audio worked out. Because at first I'm like, what do you mean you can't hear me? Like everything was, the cat. That's right. I forgot. So I've learnt a lesson today as well. Do not leave the cat unattended when the roadcaster is vulnerable. She plays with the sliders. So I have learnt a thing. I hope you guys have also learnt a thing. I love being able to facilitate and learning from each other. There's been so much great interaction from each other in the chat, and I love that so much. I love it so much. And I really do appreciate those of you who did jump in and buy me a coffee. I will, live stream consultants, straight after this stream, get the audio into my stream deck so that it has its own little pad so that I can just press a button. I'm thinking an orange button, so it's like a coffee-ish. Like if I had brown, I'd want brown, but I think I'm limited to the colors. So I'll make sure that's in there so that we can utilize it for next time. So you guys have an awesome week. Don't be afraid to stream with whatever you've got. Give it a go. Have some fun. Streaming's supposed to be fun. And I'll see you all here next week for another discussion topic. Bye now.